Right next to me is our international guest, Virginia Varekite. Did I say it right, Virginia?
Yes.
Thank you. She's a Lithuanian intimacy coordinator, but also a producer and filmmaker. She's certified with IPA and also with Nordic intimacy coordinators. We'll kind of learn much more about it. Jan Weiner, hello Honza, is a writer and editor, Czech writer and editor. His debut, She Came at Night, had an and a director. His movie She Came at Night had the opening here 2 years ago at 2023, and he's also the author of the Czech TV series No Big Deal, which we will talk about a little bit more concretely in connection with intimacy coordination. And last but not least is Jana Neustupová, who was the intimacy coordinator at No Big Deal, besides many other things, and she's also the IPA certified intimacy coordinator. So thank you, welcome. Before I'm gonna lay out the program of the 60 minutes, I wanted to tell you this is for you, the panel is for you. Anytime you feel any need to ask a question, please do so. You don't have to wait until the end of the discussion. So just please raise your hand and we'll be happy to try to answer those questions. The theme, from prejudice to methodology, intimacy coordination in the context of Central Europe. So we are gonna sort of be talking about the Czech Republic, both the Eastern European countries, Central European countries, and of course the Baltics, thanks to Virginia. What does the intimacy coordination in films actually entail, and why it might be misunderstood in some parts of Central and Northern Europe? It will also explore the evolving role of the intimacy coordinators in the regional film and also theater productions, from student film to international co-production, and from both a director and coordinator's perspective, we'll look at some production challenges. So, thank you very much for coming. Honza, I love your quote, which I think you said for the Czech radio, that the safety is sort of in comparison to the action movies. It's just like that intimacy coordinator is needing so people would not get hurt mentally. So if you could maybe elaborate on that.
Yeah.
How is it meant?
I think I'm not able already to quote myself, but
well, I just did.
It's the way how I explain this to myself, and also or when I was thinking how to explain my need of a coordinator on a set to the producers. I was trying to name it for myself, and I realized and confirmed during the shooting that it's similar to, because you need time for these scenes, for intimate scenes, for sex scenes, you need time as you need for any other choreography you do. Like in action movies, and in action movies you're using stuntmen for a certain scene, so they are not gonna hurt, or you prepare the actor so he will perform the stunt and you make sure he's not gonna hurt. And it's similar with these scenes, because there's so many questions hidden. Somebody in charge on the set might say it's gonna cost some time, we don't have a time, we don't have a budget for it, but it's not about time, actually it's about the communication, which is I think the biggest problem on every set. So we will talk it through, and we will do it same like with the stunts, like let's go through all these phases. It's very similar, actually, it's a very similar process. No one is gonna get hurt at the end, mentally or physically.
Well, I was talking to the Audiovisual Producer Association, to Vratislav Šlajer, to the head, and he said he fully supported. He was actually talking about a similar thing. He said, it's like when you have a special choreographer teaching, actors how to act in crime movies, how to use properly a weapon, that's exactly it. You just need more training, we just need more to feel safe. What does it entail, Virginia? What does it all entail, the intimacy coordination? What do you need for it? Do you need extra time, extra money?
Well, the things you mentioned, of course. I think that the main thing that as intimacy coordinators we would need is acknowledgement from the production that we are here to actually make things better. When I work with directors who want me there, they are happy that I can make things faster, quicker, and they don't need to get into the nitty-gritty details. They don't need to, blush in front of performers when describing what the scene entails, because speaking about intimacy, it's not for everybody a comfortable topic. And when I speak to the performers, I speak to them very specifically. I name specific parts of their body that will be visible. I name specific type of sex that is expected on screen. So when we do these conversations, for us it's already second nature. For producers and directors, they often get shy and they don't say very specifically because they get confused, and then actors get confused, and then everyone's confused on the set. So basically, intimacy coordinators, coordination entails advocacy for performers, mediation between production and performers, choreography, mitigation of risks that can arise on the scenes. So these are the main things.
Jana, isn't there a misconception that with the intimacy coordinator things will actually take longer instead of faster?
Yes, we were talking about it. I think this morning we had it that's very often. I heard it on set a number of times, and I think even actor told me recently that who works with me and does some workshops with me, and he said he's going to be working on a movie where there's lots of intimacy and nudity, and he actually said to the director, we should get intimacy coordinator, and he was like, no, it's going to get slower, and she's going to be telling me how to do it and how to direct. So that's also another, I think, worry, that they are worried they will step in too much, and because it's a new role, it's true that also not everyone is different. As we are different from Virginia and me, we are different. We will work differently. We will obey the same rules, the advocacy and the work as we were trained, but you bring something from yourself. So I actually I'm one of those actors that I don't take it personally. So if someone tells me we don't want an IC, I'm fine, as long as you know that you are capable as a director to actually say what you want from the cast members. That it's not going to be that they're reading the script where it's written, they're going to have sex, and then the producer said, well, they read the script, so they know that they're going to have sex.
But Honza, isn't this something to know for the writers, that the script should be as specific as possible, that maybe there should not be written and now they have sex, but there should be specifically written what's going to happen? Is this helpful maybe?
I will answer, just want to add something what Janka said, that there is this common fear she will gonna tell me how I should direct. I think it's similar with each position on the set. Nobody, the sound engineer, nobody is telling me the grip, how to direct. They're asking me what I want to do, and they need, to use their profession to make it right. So Janka asks me how I want the scene look like, and that's what we are going to shoot. She's not coming to me and saying no, this is wrong. Maybe she'll, if it's going to be wrong. But she's what is the meaning of this scene? And let's, I want just to make sure we will deliver it. And about the script, you know, it's still like a business document when you're financing a film. So I realized that it should be because nobody wants to read generally, as I realized. When you're fundraising and you know, sending it to producers and each other partner of the film. So I'm, you know, because I'm a writer as well, I'm trying to be as how to put it, as short as possible in the script, because again, the comparison with action sequences, you have a coordinator of action sequences, and you might have actually a very detailed choreography in mind, but it's like addition to the script. So you might deliver the script, you might describe, you know, not just vaguely like they have sex. I think that's a wrong version of it, but not over detail it as well. And then just add a mood board or something for the key sequences in action movie. It's gonna be the action, the concept of the action scenes, you know, the author's note. And similar with this film, like if it's like full of, or if it's based on some intimate scenes, then you have this author's note, and then you can make a mood board. This is gonna, you know, this is my approach to it. This is the vision. So the script is not necessarily detailed, but it shouldn't be vague as well.
Sure, thank you.
But I don't think there is anything wrong with and then they make love or then they have sex in the script. It's like what's wrong is that it's not being specified as we prep.
Yeah.
But in general, I would not have an expectation from the writers to make it really detailed. Well, that would really limit the creativity, I think, probably.
Maybe actors, because when you offer this script to actors, then they are like, you're offering a role to them, and maybe there are like six scenes or 3 scenes, maybe three sex scenes, and then if the sentence is just sex, it's many things, like, does it contain nudity or not? So,
Sure.
again, it's the communication.
But again, intimacy coordination is not about intercourses only, right? It's also about well-being on the set, maybe. You know, Ita O'Brien was talking about that if there is a funeral in the family of an actor, he or she should have the right to get 2 days off, you know, which was unheard of still maybe 30 years ago during the photo shoot, or when there is a serious like exhaustion or disease, they should be able to take a day off, which is not a norm during shooting. So it's also a connection maybe between family, parents and children. So it's not just, I think, sexual themes, right?
Definitely not just sexual things, but I feel I need to clarify this one not to raise confusion, because we also sometimes get mixed with mental health professionals on the set. I am a mental health first aider, but if I'm hired to be there an intimacy coordinator, I can't be expected also to be a mental health assistant there, because it's not a healthy approach to do that. And what you're talking about are just, it's in general performers as professional in any other working environment. That's a whole big different question, and probably the intimacy coordinators might be the people to whom actors would come with these questions, but it shouldn't be the intimacy coordinators that also take upon this part. We will probably, direct this question to something, but we do not have competence to deal with how the actor should ask the production to have a free day if he has a tragedy in the family. So that's not entirely that.
Yeah, no, that's not the job. Like we have like, so all the, actually when we are trained, you need to have some predispositions to even get into those courses. And one of the things also is like, so mental health first aiding. But actually, I think most of this training is so we can support the cast, but also that we can support ourselves. Because when you're supporting the cast and the director, and sometimes also the crew, because they would come sometimes and talk to me about something, I'm trying not to cross the boundaries, because I'm like, okay, I'm here as an IC. But we are trained mainly for these situations to be able to work with them. Because there can be a situation when the cast member is going through something and it's happening maybe during filming, and we should be able to recognize it. So it's not that like we are trained to trained psychologists, no way, but we are trained so we can assist them and then signpost them, etc. What you mentioned, like it would be brilliant if we can also not only cast members but everyone could just take time off when they have a death in a family or any other things. But I don't know if we are there yet. It seems it comes in the waves. Right?
It's just a provocative question.
Yeah, of course.
Unfortunately, not possible at this moment. I've been in a situation recently when I got sick on the set. My co-director got sick on the set, and our DOP got sick on the set, and then 3 other people. And at the morning I drive to the set, and I felt like I'm not really feeling well. Of course, I had this face mask, and when I saw how my co-director and my DOP looked like, I got more energy because they were even worse, honest. And the evening, they called me like, I'm not gonna make it. The other director fell off through the day, and the DOP was like, I'm not sure. And the producer called me and said like, it's all right, if you will not be able to make it, I'm gonna shoot it instead of you. And with the second DOP, I was like, well, I think I don't want you to shoot it instead of me. I don't want to have a shot which I haven't directed, so I guess I'm gonna come tomorrow. Because sometimes even if there is insurance and everything, it's I think rare to put the production on hold. Maybe this was the particular case that the plan was so insane for all the actors, who's gonna be where, and it was like impossible to shoot the scene because everyone at the end of the shoot, which was long, was like going for vacation. So the option was either it's gonna be you or somebody else. So I choose it's gonna be me on the bills.
What I would just actually add to it, which it links to intimacy coordinating actually here, is like that if we look at what they can do, like what ideal world. So we, for example, like always try to tell them like, if you're starting a movie, don't have the intimacy or integrative scene, where this simulated sex on the first day of filming, and it's still happening. Actually, it's still happening. And but we're getting better. And another thing is, don't have it like a last thing on the day, because again, there are lots of things attached to it that can affect even the performance of the actress, during the day. And that's something that it's actually getting better, I must say.
That's interesting. On the scale of different kinds of productions, like student productions, mini TV series, normal films, international collaborations, who is the most approachable in getting the intimacy coordinator? Do you have like a good experience with the student films, for example, Jana?
Yes. Yeah, I think the new generation is going to make a huge difference. But because I started with student films, so that was still during my training, because I wanted to get as many experiences as possible. And in many ways, actually, the student films, even though maybe they are not as big, but they are very professional, because FAMU is very professional, FAMU International, also in Zlín University. But then you feel like you can step in a little bit more, and then really you can make a difference. So I learned a lot, and I must say that also they were so open. They were so open to the collaboration. With the cast members as well. But I wouldn't say that it's just the student films, it really depends. If I can't even pick, like, sometimes it's the producer that I'm amazed that they are like, we must have intimacy coordinator, and they are pushing the director, right? Sometimes it's the director, but maybe he, she, they are really shy to ask. And of course it always comes down to the money, because if there is no money, they're even shyer to ask for support. Only thing that I'm like doing now when we do workshops, not only, but like main thing that I do when we do workshops is I say to the cast members, not that I have job, but I tell them, the role is here, so if you feel like you need the support, ask for it. And you will see what they are going to say. The only thing they can say, we have no money.
Sure. Honza, I have 2 questions for you. First, how do you deal with questions of as such while doing a debut, as was the She Came at Night, because there were two quite complicated intimacy scenes. So
how I dealt with that?
as a kind of first-time director.
It was just, I had to mention it first that it was co-directed by my friend, filmmaker Tomáš Pavliček. And the two scenes, one was interrupted sex, it was the beginning of some intimacy scene, but then it was like interrupted by a very vicious mother, as the film is about that. And the other one that was really complicated because there was a certain nudity of two actresses. One was like 68, 69, and the other one is around 30. And the scene was about the older one, which was the mother of the partner of the girl, is taking bath, and she's watching the girl taking shower, and we see in the scene how she judges her body, and the girl feels it, and it was important, to have some nudity in the scene. So I described the scene, or we described the scene to Annette, the actress, both actresses, but specifically to Annette, because she was much more like naked than Simona, the other actresses. And because the thing was that it was guerrilla-made film, and we had like lots of positions wasn't there, so even intimacy coordinator wasn't there. But in the very first treatment, we knew we need this scene even before the script. So when we were offering the part to this actress, I asked her if she's able to imagine that she's gonna make this scene and what I expect from it and how it's gonna be shot. That it's not an eye candy, but it should be disturbing. And she said, "Yeah, I'm okay. I just don't need anybody to watch me." I said, "Well, we're just 5 or 6 people shooting the film, and I think nobody's gonna be with you in the scene besides the sound engineer, and we picked Boomer, a girl actually for this one, which she was more comfortable with. So it was DIY, do it yourself, but I hope nobody was damaged by this. Maybe the audience, I don't know.
I just wanted to add that it was pretty unique because the main character was a 69-year-old woman, so more like almost a senior citizen. So.
And this actress actually is very, she comes from the theater and she's very physical, I think she had more than one place, which is like, she's very intimidating in the best word possible on herself, so she loves these scenes. It's like, the raw meat for her to process. So we explained her the whole thing, and she wasn't enjoying it also, but she said, no, I get it, and we have to do it right. So she had much more experience with this kind of scenes.
Sure, from the theater world. I believe the legal obligations in the Czech Republic, and correct me if I'm wrong, are that you have to have an intimacy coordinator if the characters are and if the actors are underage, right? How is it, Virginia, in the Scandinavian context when the rules are much more kind of rigorous and stricter? If you could lead us shortly with it, because that's what you specialize in.
So what happens in Scandinavia, we have protocols that, I would say they have, like we talk about Scandinavian countries, because in the Baltics we are like navigating all types of productions and all styles of work. But Scandinavia has more protocols, and they are obligatory. So if you're an intimacy coordinator working on a Scandinavian production, after this training, you commit to bringing those protocols on the Scandinavian productions. And one of the difference, for example, if you have a nudity rider in a Scandinavian production, it will most likely be way more detailed than the one that you would have with an American production or maybe some other European production. And some don't even call them nudity riders, they call them something else. So in the nudity rider, like on an American standard, you would have the performer agrees to above the waist nudity, below the waist nudity, whatever nudity, and to perform simulated sex. and maybe some details if there are, like if it's not a nudity, if it's a sheer bra. So you write that it's a see-through bra. So she's dressed, but you can still see things. In the Scandinavian one, you will probably have a sex position. Sometimes you will have also places where you agree to be touched. So it kind of falls into the paper and people try to follow up. I understand the need of that. Sometimes you might work with performers that on the set, with the consent of the both, realize that actually a different position and a different touching is way more suitable and way more comfortable. And such detail writers might become then a challenge. Because with a nudity writer, you have a 48-hour rule. Once they're signed, then there has to be 48 hours before it's shot. So, then you sort of corner yourself. So you always have to navigate and see which actually system works best in this very, very moment. Also in Scandinavia, very rigorous rehearsals, which it's not always a rule on a Western production or on a Baltic production. Usually it depends if there is time, if there is money for the rehearsal. We have practices that we offer performers to check out of the scenes. Again, not all the actors want to do the check out. So I really respect the Scandinavian approach because they really want to grow the industry to respect intimacy coordination. And when I work with students, I adapt all of it 110%. When you work on bigger productions, you always measure the temperature, just how much they are willing to tolerate. And if they want to tolerate more, you push more. If you feel a pushback, then you think that the priority is performer safety, and then you concentrate on that in the best way you can.
Speaking of kind of formalizing the intimacy coordinators, I think you mentioned that the Latvian Film Center has made the intimacy coordinators mandatory for production, they found. The Czech Republic does not have any formal incentives for using intimacy coordinators, but is there any positive progress, Janka, in terms of promoting the work or using it when it's needed, really?
Yeah. No, I can see the difference already. I think I'm saying about if I compare it with last year, I can see a huge difference. First of all, there was a big publicity. Not just me, but also another certified intimacy coordinator, so that helped. I think it was also after the LV, our Oscars Alliance, where there was first mentioned intimacy coordinating, so that also helped. But I think also I hear that when now they are writing scripts, they can put that in that if there's an intimate scene that they are planning to use an intimacy coordinator when they are applying for funding. And I think that also helps greatly because they actually then do it. And I worked recently also on a project that was with, let's say, a decade my senior director, because I don't want to name, and I was very pleasantly surprised of the approach, because I didn't think that he would be open, because first it felt really that I was on a project that I'm there only to tick a box, and I really don't like working on those, so I was actually kind of crossed and thinking maybe I won't work on it. But then I gave it a go, did the first day, and it was really good, and I realized that he was willing to learn everything. He wanted to know, so how is it working? So, oh, okay, so you want to talk about the scene and into the detail. And he was like, oh, that's a really good question. And he was thinking about it. It was so positive. And I think even for him, it was such a great surprise. And then after we finished, it even was, in a way, the collaboration was in the sense that I said to him, I just need to like tell something to the actress, I think this could improve. And he even said, yeah, just go and tell her. And he didn't want to know what I want to tell her. So I felt like, wow. So that's a positive experience. And I think it's going to be changing. On the note of, like when I listen to Virginia talking about the Scandinavia, I'm thinking that actually is a bit insane to me. And you see, this is a different approach because I'm thinking it's good to put certain things in nudity riders, but not to make it for ourselves much harder for the ICs in our work, but also for everyone else, because that's also kind of going towards that you cannot go back, So I think somewhere in the middle, which we are now heading towards in our country.
We are finding ways, yeah. And also sometimes, Honza, maybe even the actors or actresses actually ask for it, right? Is that also a possible way?
That was actually that was actually how I met Janka. Because again, when we were making No Big Deal, I had the treatment. I was in the treatment phase, which is like the raw story, no script yet, no dialogues. And because I knew we were gonna shoot pretty close to not far away, so I approached the actresses, which I wanted for like the two main actresses for the whole show at the very beginning, because I was trying to write the script for them, like for both of them, and take them to the process. And I asked them because from the treatment it was obvious that there's gonna be lots of scene and it's connected with the theme of the series. And I asked them if they would like to have an intimacy coordinator on set, and they said they would like to. And one of them, Denisa Barešová, gave me the contact for Janka because her friend told her, Alžběta Malá actually, that they worked together on a short film, and it was nice. So we met with Janka, and yeah, that's how we met.
No Big Deal, for those of you who didn't actually hear about it or saw it, is about OnlyFans, right?
Yeah, like
just tell us
it's
a little bit
the entry
maybe more.
point to the film. It's about relationships and also about OnlyFans. OnlyFans is like a silver line going through this phenomenon through the whole series. So yeah, there was lots of scene. It was actually not just those two actresses. There was other actress and one actor, and who were like included in these scenes. So, but it was already been stated that we had an intimacy coordinator by that time, so everyone felt safe.
Virginia, you have done 3 theater shows, 3 theater productions, and 8 films, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty extensive career for intimacy coordinator. Are there still sort of the conflicted views on how much you should be involved in those projects? Because I'm assuming the theater world is pretty much different than the screen. If you also want to tell us about the distinction.
Just to be a little bit more accurate, it involves TV series, films, teasers, student films, so they were not all films. I don't want to take up too much credit. And now I was so concentrated to be more accurate that I really forgot the question that you asked.
If there is like a conflicted view of these different
Right.
types of productions. Let's say in the theater they would say, we don't need it, we do it all the time.
Yes, you have really, what I love about this work is that you really have a whole range of attitudes, questions, types of work, how people want to be approached. And my main principle in my work is to prioritize performer safety and prioritize what performers really wants and needs, and the rest to build around it. And I had a production in theater where they're like, oh yeah, we need an intimacy coordinator, like, it's not really necessary, but it's like a British production, so we have to, and they were openly saying this to me, and I really want to congratulate them for inviting me, albeit having this attitude, and I think after we finished working, now they have a little bit of a different attitude, and we agreed we will keep on collaborating. Performers sometimes in the theater would have this, I will never forget a conversation with one of the performers on one-on-one talks. I asked her what you agree and don't agree to do, and she was like, well, you know, whatever they're gonna ask me, I'm a performer, so. And I'm like, you do know that on intimate scenes, you have a right to say no if you don't want to? And she was so sincere, saying, really? And I was heartbroken, because I couldn't believe that that's how they feel. And then another performer was like, I don't care. You know how many intimate scenes I did? You know what they did in that, and they did in that, and they did this to me? I don't care anymore. So you also have this. So you adapt, really. If you feel that the performer doesn't want you close, too close, you give them space. And if you feel they need more protection, well, you be the mama bear.
And also, I mean, there are performers who have limited parts of the body, etc., right? That's kind of also happening more and more, I'm assuming, and the director is the one who has to kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
My question,
you need to know everything like this before you cast the actor or actress, because, as you said, if this happens on day, I don't know, 30, like really, you don't have to do this. It might be a problem if this scene is essential to it, but then I expect that the director talked about it before they cast the role, because they cast before they cast the part. Actually, one of the two actresses I mentioned in the series, the amount of nudity was various with every other version of the draft. So till the last moment we were discussing what is too much, what is not too much, and what she's capable of. And at one point I said, okay, let's fix it, this is how it's gonna be, and you have to tell me if you're going for it, and we have some range to, we can discuss, but you just need to tell me if you want to take this part.
Yeah, but the also important moment is that one of the key things in intimacy coordination is that boundaries are specific, like they shift, they can change, and I feel that producers or directors are very much afraid of intimacy coordinators telling the performers that if on the day you don't feel like doing that, you don't have to. Because they think, oh my God, and they're gonna come on the set and not gonna do that, and then what we're gonna do, so please don't tell them this. And I feel like I like telling performers that really you don't have to, because 90% of the time, just them knowing that they have the power to say no already relaxes them. And they will already be more keen and open on the set when they know their boundaries will be protected.
And also, I mean, I don't want to go into too much details, but I now know nowadays there are already some maybe protective parts for the body when the performer can actually vary to feel comfortable, which kind of...
It's more the ones that are like protected. It's more like the ones that like they don't want to be touched, basically.
Yes, That's I think also a new interesting thing to be used. You know? I don't know if you guys deal with it or if you are kind of promoting it, but that's another step I think in feeling safe for the performer.
Well, we generally, I mean, we were trained in that way that you kind of ask them, actually, you ask them very directly, like, are there any parts of your body that you don't feel comfortable to be touched? And then you write it down, and then you discuss if it's something like, sometimes it's something really weird, right? Maybe for me it's weird, but you still like, okay, that's your boundary. So that's very important. And we communicate that. I think that's the first thing you said, Hansa, it's the communication and honesty. Like that's why I think there is a word intimacy coordinating, because I think you need to, like the most important skill is actually people skills. And as Virginia said, like everyone is different, every project is different, and you need to be really careful not to assume. So when I was starting, like I knew I will make mistakes because that's how you learn, right? But I was always making sure that, okay, I made a mistake there, I wrote it down and I will never make it again. Because I take it seriously in a way of, we can really make a mistake where they can get hurt, you know, and it's our responsibility to protect them in a way. So yeah, that's just on the note of that, like, protective part, yeah.
Can the three of you share with us the one biggest mistake you have done in relation to the intimacy coordination or dealing with it?
I have a pretty recent one, but I'm not sure if I can tell it. But it ended up very well, actually, so maybe I can. On certain project we did with Janka, there wasn't so many... You've been there, just for a day. There was not so many scenes, and don't tell more. There were not so many scenes we need intimacy coordinator for, but one or two were there, and we discussed that, and there was this limited budget and everything. I said she's gonna be here at least for this, because I'm quite afraid of this one, because it was actually, it should be date in the scene, but basically it's a rape, you know? Girl goes with the main character to the basement, and they have sex, and after the sex she feels like he doesn't care anymore, and it's like, it's weird. So that was the scene, and I had Janka on this one, and the actors were like, they were like very, like, well, they were excited to work with Janka, and everything went well, very smoothly. And I think week before, we shot different scene when there is the same actor but different actress, and they're in a tent, and they just lie here together and they kiss at a certain moment, which was actually on-set idea. And I was discussing everything with the actress. She was a young one, and I said like, okay, I imagine the scene like both of you will be in your underwear in the tent, because they were like also like boyfriend-girlfriend situation. And they said, all right, and I said, this doesn't mind to you or not? The actress, I took her aside because I hadn't had Janka on this one. And she said, yeah, but I would rather maybe have my pants on and, be under the blanket. I said, all right, it's okay. So everything went smoothly, and then I was like recapitulating the whole situation. I said it was great, and I asked the actresses like, just by the way, you're studying like conservatory, or? And she said, no, I'm on elementary school. I'm 14. And I said, Jesus Christ. And the assistant said, yeah, she told me that this was the first day she kissed a boy actually. And we were like, Jesus, and she doesn't tell us. And then I approached her again, and she was like, no, it's all right, you asked me, and we did this, and I will tell you. And this actress, she's the main character of the film, what's the...
Broken Glass?
Dirigent...
I think it's called Broken Glass in English, if I'm not mistaken.
So that was her first experience, and the whole film is about like the sex predator stuff. So she was already like used to, so the scene we did, it wasn't nothing new for her, but still I was like, she's not even 15. So maybe we had Janka on the wrong scene, she should be there, but everything was, but I was like totally out of place.
Virginia, do you want to share some of your learning experiences with us?
When I just began, I was working on this production, and I was really trying to do everything by the book and be very, first in the class and very rigorous and totally not reading the room, absolutely. And there was this performer, and she obviously did not want me to be there. She had no trust in me, but I was like trying to prove that I have a reason to be there. Although I didn't have much to do, the scene was fairly simple, and I came on the production not as a lead coordinator, I came a bit later, And they had already shot a lot of things, and of course they had a group dynamic that was very familiar. And the performer took a picture during the rehearsal of an intimate scene, which is a big no, because we have a closed set and nobody is supposed to take pictures, etc. And I saw that, and I went to speak with her after the rehearsal before filming, and I asked her, did I understood correctly? Did you take the picture? And she said, yeah, I did. And I'm like, could you please at least not share it publicly? And she was so extremely mad at me. She was so angry. I didn't come back to work on that set because she was also the best friend of the producer. So I don't think she was very comfortable with me as an intimacy coordinator. And I realized it was a mistake on my part because I did not picked on a temperature that was on the set, and obviously making a performer angry right before they have to go on camera was not a good idea. So I know that I really learned a good lesson there.
Thank you. We have about 10 minutes. You have been fantastic, but very quiet audience. Do you have any any questions regarding maybe your future projects or you being an actor or anything? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm preparing a pretty sensitive movie in September, and not from my side, but from the actress side was the concern that the intimacy coordinator, because she worked a lot with them, is that she's talking too much into directing the movie. And so my question is how to approach you and how to talk with you. Where are the boundaries, what I can say or what you can do, and how to set it? Because for me, it's not just another role in the crew, as Jan said. For me, as you described, it's more like about the mental health, so it's more a sensitive topic for me. How much I can talk with you, and how much I can interact and set the boundaries with you.
You mean like how are we going to work on the set? How are we going to work together, right? Basically, you can talk about anything. Like I keep in my meetings with directors, I always ask the director, how do you want me to work with you? Do you want me to assist you in choreography? Do you want me just stand there in the corner and observe that the boundaries are not crossed? How much involvement do you like? Do you want me to, is it okay if I speak directly with the actors? Or you want me to speak with you first and then speak to the actors? Or maybe sometimes I had cases where I was expected to speak first with the first AD, then the first AD would decide when I can speak with the director. So you have plenty of options there, and the most important thing is to clearly communicate, like, I need you for this, and for that, and please stay away from all of that. And it's absolutely understandable.
And what shall I respect on the other side? Like, where you set the boundaries, like to, for example, that the actress can say no that day and stuff like that. So, what, like, definitely shall I respect at, like, working with you on the other side?
If I understand correctly, my answer would be everything that is in connection to performer safety and boundaries and consent, I would expect the director to respect it. That means that if I come to you and I say the performer does not agree to do this today, although they agreed to do that before, most likely I will come already with the suggestion. Because they themselves very often give suggestions. They say, I would prefer it like that. So what I would expect from the director is that when I come with this information, the director, I know it's really hard, wouldn't freak out and say, okay, let's just think how we can do it. Is it working? Is it not working? Do we shifting things and so on? So just to have a very calm conversation. So the boundary on my side is this. Sometimes directors and intimacy coordinators are like, so yeah, where does the directing stops and the intimacy coordinator begins? And I really like how our mentor, Amanda, put it. she said in those cases, everything that is in the body.
Virginia, maybe we should say who Amanda is.
Sorry?
Maybe you should say to the audience who Amanda is.
Oh, she's one of the first intimacy coordinators in Hollywood, and she was our mentor in our both courses. So the way she puts it is, everything that is the body, you can let the intimacy coordinator choreograph, and everything that is the face is totally director's territory. So you can tell the intimacy coordinator what kind of tone or mood or feeling you're expecting, and we will patch it up with the performers, and then I would never speak to the actors, and then you look at her very angry, because it's totally not my competence.
Sorry.
Yeah,
so I guess as for example with the camps before the shooting, it's also important to have a long discussion or a discussion with the intimacy coordinator,
That's usually part of the process. One of the things we begin with is an intimacy meeting with director and producer and first AD, basically to speak about the vision of the director, how the director envisions what will be on the screen. And it's totally okay, it's very important. It's totally okay if the director doesn't know. I want to emphasize that because directors suffer from this expectation that they have to know everything all the time. No, it's okay not to know. Totally fine. We will work it out on the process.
Actually, when you said before, I don't want to go into details, that's what Anka teach me, you have to go to the, as deep detail as possible. So just say it. I was like, all right, so I just need to see this. And so for instance, it's gonna be a top shot, we will be panning in, and we will see this, and this, and we will go from this angle, this. Or sometimes the choreography is like this, then I don't know, then there is this twist, then I need this shot, and then I don't know, and please help me with it. So they need to do something to, end up here. So we just created this map full of description, words, and images, and whatever you have. And sometimes I was also I don't know, but I just feel the emotion. So let's find out how. And then Janka discussed the actors, and then we discussed that together, and so that helped also.
Yeah, it's also important to say that, and it's not because he sits next to me, but I haven't since this day received a better mood board, everything to detail than from Jan. I really haven't from the director.
I was just afraid that I'm gonna be unprepared.
He was very prepared because I asked him for at least so we can envision it together, and also it was very helpful because we had some, I think you had some issue with casting in No Big Deal before one of the role. Someone dropped out, right? And then you had to cast.
At the last minute.
Yeah, last minute. And for that reason, for example, it was great that he had this mood board because it was very important to show this actress what he's expecting. Not just sometimes, because it's with every person, some people like words, they can envision easily. Some people are very visual, so it's much easier if you just show them something like this. Are you going to be comfortable with that? So that was really good.
We started with the challenges of the CEE region of Central Europe or Eastern Europe. Is there any particular one wish of yours, of the three of you, for the improvement? Because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, we are doing pretty good. I mean, they are experienced intimacy coordinators, they are having a lot of work, there are directors willing to collaborate, and everybody is trying to understand what it is and trying to develop it further. So, but yeah, I mean, maybe there is a space for an improvement. Virginia, are you going to be the first? Honza?
Yeah, maybe because I think in the Czech Republic, it really, I feel the change also in the last year, because there was a discussion, public discussion about it, and the current project I did, I spoke with the creative producer in television, and he said, just show him the mood board, not for the intimacy scene, for the whole show. And he said, yeah, and by the way, you will have an intimacy coordinator on this one, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, because we require that now as a television. I won't say which one, but we require that. And I said, okay. And then the producer, because he was like external producer, he told me, I'm not sure if you should confirm that because I don't think we have money for that. And I said, but they just, said they require this. So you might ask them for the money. So you may let them like prove it, like that they did it right. It's not just words, but we will support it. We will put additional money because the budget was approved much more, longer before. I said, if it's a new thing for you, just tell them, okay, you want it, please give us money for that, but make them prove it. It's not just words, because sometimes it's very sexy to say it, like we are better people now and we require it for every project, but you need to put it in, to turn it into reality. So I wish that this is going to be much more regular and that the production heads and the creative producers in the televisions will support it, not just with words, but also with resources. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say that as well, money. No, but I think we are doing really good. I also have really positive feedback from whenever we do workshop, you have the young people actually wanted to do it, so I think very soon, in 2 years' time, I'm not going to be doing it anymore because there will be more people here. But I think what I wish for is that clearer guidance, which I'm trying to work out through what channels to make this happen, but I really want that the cast members feel comfortable to put that in their contracts. And now if there are producers here, don't get scared. Not in a way that it will affect them, but to really kind of draw, a clear line, what is okay for them and what not. Because also, as Jan mentioned, it will help also even with the casting process, then you're not going to go for someone that clearly wouldn't do it, so why push that person, why even consider? So for me it's more not saying protocols, but some more clear guidance that we would really go for, and if the rest will just happen because we are in check. We don't like things to be, this is what
Unfinished. Virginie?
Since I will be probably the last to say, I would probably go for a more general view, not only what would improve things for intimacy coordinators, but for all film industry. It's an extremely draining industry. Everyone gets so stressed and exhausted. Producers, directors, crews, we work 12-hour shifts. Crews work 12-hour shifts for 30 days, 60 days in a row with a little bit of rest. And what I want to encourage is that mental and emotional sustainability in film industry would not be laughed at. Because we are so tired, sometimes we become cynical about taking proper care of ourselves on the set, and we have this desperate conviction that the art and the films we're making are worthy the cost of us losing our minds and health. So I wish that this would change.
This is very nice. Honza?
Agree.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I'm doing actually, that's my other job, so yes.
I was maybe wondering, you mentioned an actors who refused to work with you or didn't feel comfortable. Do you experience that with the males as well? Like male actors, that they feel uncomfortable talking to you about intimacy?
I have had experience with, and I don't want to generalize, I don't think it's correct that it's female or male, because it can happen to both, but I had male performers saying to me, I don't want to wear a barrier because that's not going to make things natural. And I'm like, you're not supposed to feel natural, it's supposed to look natural, but it's not supposed to feel natural. So I probably had more of these, but I don't want to judge anyone here because we come from such different backgrounds and we live in such different expectations. Like male performers can experience harassment, sexual harassment on set and never say this because they don't think that being harassed by a female performer on the set is harassment. but these are social things that we sort of agree upon. And that's why then we have some male performers that think that they will not be a good actor if they don't feel things naturally. So it's very, very important not to assume, not to judge, and not to make this division.
It's already open.
We have visitors here. Last question, because we just reached over an hour. What is your next project? When could we see your credits on Honza?
Well, next project, or where do you see a new thing? Because I have one project in post-production which will be out in January.
Okay, yeah. So the one we can see?
Should I mention it? Or yeah, it's a
If you can.
It's a true crime series. Method Markovich. It's called. It's like a sequel to the true crime series. A very good one actually. And the other ones I just to take some time now for writing. So looking forward to have more time. So maybe in the next 2 years.
Next time when we see each other, Janka.
So I'll be doing lots of international ones now, but Czech one I worked recently and it will go in Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. It's called Million. It's a comedy. Yeah.
Virginia, is yours still Lithuania or somewhere else?
I've just finished working on an Apple TV series. I don't know when they're coming out. I don't even know when they're going to finish filming. I know they finished with intimate scenes, so that will probably be something I'm looking for.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your attention, guys. Have a fantastic rest of the festival, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.